Don't blink, it's your blink. Welcome to our show. Guys are doing well, guys are having a wonderful day on this 25th May 2025. Today we're talking about motivation. So lately we've been talking a lot about mental health and how I'm feeling, and I've just been pushing video out and out. So the funny thing is, yesterday we were talking about how possibly the reason why I was pushing so much content out is because I want to kind of what should we call it? I want to distract myself from my mental pain, right? Or maybe, just maybe, it is because I'm kind of in a position where I know that I have a job coming soon, so I want to produce the most content as possible. See, with the job coming soon, should be the opposite. Let's take a little break before the job starts, and when the job starts, you're well rested. But instead, what it is you're like, fuck, dude, maestro pepperoni. What about an hour ago? I'm gonna be busy. When I say busy, I mean busy. I was like, where's this motivation coming from? Right? And with me, the cool thing is, I don't need to analyze myself. I make enough videos to analyze myself. See, for example, with motivation, I could come into a video that I did. Bro, you're annoying. This bird, my neighbor feeds the bird. This bird comes every single morning. I know it's him. There's a little white spot on his wing. I don't know if it's parasite or fungus. I'm done eating, promise. So, I'll try this. Beautiful, isn't it? And yes, I should do this corn or nature as a distraction for you guys. So, where does this motivation come from? I could look at the yesterday videos where I say, well, again, I'm not doing so well, so maybe overworking is a way of distracting myself. I could be looking at the video we did last week, which is a man with a plan and a man with a camera. And in both of the cases, and it's even weirder because a man with a plan, I was like, well, I don't know if I prefer the man with a plan with the man with a camera. And I saw myself as a man with a camera, right? And then I did 3 videos last week, 1 and 2 the week before, and those was making content. So my inspiration, my aspiration, people that were doing content, that were doing it right, a lot of people that were out there and just making great content, you know. And where did I get my motivation? And you can look here, right? And then when you all put them together, you got a one confused mess. But thankfully, I know how my brain works, and I am a confused mess myself. I think I'm back into motivation. I think taking a step back was the perfect thing. I think I had way too many playlists. Am I still recording? I am recording. Nice. We had way too many playlists. We had way too many projects. We had way too many things that we started but never finished. And it drags on the person because you're like, dude, are you gonna be finishing this one? Are you gonna be? And I think you're your biggest critic, right? So when you're actually in this position, it's a shitty thing because you're like, fuck, right? Another thing that I won't finish. Another thing that I could have done that I didn't do. Another thing that if I was a bit more organized, I would have been able to do, right? So then, again, I'm extremely hard on myself. And I think for the longest of time, I've been this man that believe himself to be the man with the tools and no plan. Maybe I'm finding myself creative. And it's kind of funny because you can be creative. Doesn't necessarily mean. See, this is me when I wake up. That's a lot of energy. It doesn't really mean or necessarily mean that. It's so complex. It is so fucking complex. So complex. Having creativity doesn't mean that you recognize it. For you, something that is not creative can be extremely creative for somebody else. So how does creative recognize creative? There's this funny thing which is real recognizes real. At the same time, see with uh, with creativity, and to me creativity is a talent. To me hard work is on its own. You got a genius creativity, you got somebody that's well spoken, somebody that is well behaved, somebody that's physically attractive. Those are all things that will help you make content, because you have to put less effort. There's an OnlyFans girls, she's doing this video and nobody gives a shit about what she's talking about, and then she bends and you see that cleavage and like, wow, absolute cinema, peak cinema, right? So with creativity, I kind of want to stay away from it, because I rather do artwork. Creativity is a God-given gift, so something that you're born with, versus hard work, which is, nobody is born with hard work. Nobody's born with that. I think a lot of people, determination could be something. 'Cause determination could be something that you're born with, a trait that you have. But I don't think determination automatically means hard work, and I don't think hard work automatically means determination. I think there's a world of difference in between the two of them, yet a very thin line. And how do we perceive them? I perceive hard work as, well, doesn't matter what you're doing, you're here, you're there, you're doing this, you're doing that. I mean, it's the hard work. Something that you constantly look around and you constantly see this person working. I mean, it's the hard work. Determination could be something more inclined to one. I'm determined to have the best physique. I'm determined to have the best cooking skill. I'm determined to be the best singer. I'm determined to be the best writer, the best painter. You get it, right? Determination can be focused. To me, hard work. And I know this is stupid, because it is a mental trait. If you're working hard, there's a spider on the door. I'm not afraid of spider. I just don't want it in the apartment. So for me, hard work is this thing that, and I know what you're saying, dude. That doesn't make any sense. But to me, and again, the video is still, why are we working so hard? Why are we so motivated making content? I think I have a pretty good idea on what's going on. I hope so. Maybe it's the illusion of grandeur. Who knows? What I do know is, I know it started from here. So here will tell me to move, to talk, to look, to breathe. So I know determination or hard work come from there. But hard work is more physical. It's spending more energy, right? There's often, and this is a crazy fact about my channel. I don't know if you guys will feel the same way. This is something that's, when I see the channel, when I see the video that I do, this is something I identify to a shit ton. I identify it to a shit ton, the fact that, how can I even say this? This is so complex. I'll do a whole day of making content, and I'll make videos, and I'll make X, Y, Z. And the truth is, I don't even know what X, Y, Z are, and it doesn't even really matter what X, Y, Z are. I'll be tired, I'll be fatigued, and I'll look back, and if I'm lucky, like this morning was perfect. This morning I was fatigued, and I was making content as the sun was rising. And you're like, wow, dude, this is such a good morning. And I was feeling tired. I was like, oh, dude, I worked so hard today, right? The truth is, what did I accomplish yesterday? Was it meaningful? Was it worth my effort? Worth the effort? For example, I know that you cannot quantify effort, but if you could quantify effort, then you would see it. I'm thinking that I put X amount of effort, and if I don't get X amount of result or something higher, then the effort was in vain. And that's a funny thing, because you can actually quantify effort. You can actually you can put in quality on the effort. Did you really try, or did you half try? But the result, unless you don't have unless you don't have a unless you don't have a definitive description for effort, for result, it doesn't make any sense. So for example, I go to work and I work harder and I do some overtime, right? My result is cash, right? I'm a painter and I'm painting this painting and I'm painting this painting, and for some reason I cannot get this painting. There's something wrong with it. There's something missing, and I'm constantly pushing this painting, and I'm like, dude, what is actually going on, right? And then what you're doing is you're taking this painting, and you for some reason, because for you there's something missing, you spend 12, 15, 20 hours with that painting, right? Now this painting, you don't know if you're gonna sell it, you don't know if people are gonna be liking it. You have this perception, you have this vision, and then for you, the success is accomplishing this piece, right? But it's success that people might not see. People might see this. This painting and be, what the fuck? If you look at Picasso painting, kind of crazy. There's this guy. I don't know the name of the guy, but he had schizophrenia. What he did was, I think for 1 month or for 1 year, he took. I don't know, it's one something. He stopped taking his med, and then he painted. And the more he painted, the more he was descending into madness. Then he ended up, but still, he did painting a day. So in this case, with videos, I'll have a subject. For example, today, it's flowing naturally, but there's a lot of subject that doesn't flow naturally, right? And I feel like because this subject flows so naturally, it's a bit easier. It's a bit easier in a sense of we're actively achieving something, in a sense of we're working toward XYZ. And this XYZ doesn't really matter what XYZ is. We're still gonna accomplish X, Y, and Z. So all of this came together. And in this case, this is actually quite nice. This is madness, though. This is insanity. This is mental patient. XYZ could be do what I did. X could be fucking making content. Y would be am I making content because I'm depressed? Z could be today video. And why I think, you see, the reason why I think I make more content, you see, the whole fucking day is like that because they're feeding him. But it's a bird. What am I supposed to do? I'm not gonna tell the bird shoo, because the bird doesn't understand what I'm talking about. Like, what the fuck does this guy want, right? I think this break was amazing. I think this break kind of canceled a lot of. It's so fucking funny. So I took a break and I was watching Shameless, and the reality is, I watched the entire 12 season of Shameless, and I took some notes. And I was looking at those notes again. And I was like, what the fuck am I talking about? You know? And now if I was to recap Shameless, it would be really weird because I haven't watched it since I think it was March. And when I say I think, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty fucking sure. Because One Piece was 19th of May, of February, and Shameless was the 3rd of March. We watched the whole thing in 2 weeks. So yeah, it would be difficult. So now what I have to do, I have to give up on, well, not give up, but I have to be like, fuck, I cannot recap Shameless today. I don't know if I could, or give a proper rendering of the series, right? However, I did watch Shameless, and that was a good time, and I liked the show. So the fact that I cannot recap it, was it automatically a waste of time? I don't know. You guys saw, you guys that I'm not fucking insane. The weather has been constantly changing. You see? 12 minutes is completely different, which is something that is phenomenal. So yeah, so we watched Shameless, and I was like, I cannot recap this. And then, to me, it's Shameless. I do like the show, but Shameless wasn't that I wanted to watch. I was wanting to watch it because I thought it was gonna get away from Netflix. I was like, what the fuck? So I hurried up and watched it, right? And then I realized that that was a mistake. If the show was off the air, I would have been pissed. I would have been sad because I'm like, dude, you had a chance to watch it again, right? But then how many games or how many videos or how many trailers or how many songs or how many XYZ have I reacted to or made sure that I captured? That didn't even really matter. Do I really? So the moon is a big one. I love the moon. You guys know that I have a tattoo of the moon, right? I love the moon. Do I really need to capture every single special moon, knowing that there's a couple every single month? No. And then at the same time, yes, a special moon is cool, and I'm not a moon hunter, but I do like seeing a special moon. But you're actively looking at a normal moon, right? Especially with this camera and a zoom of 20, 30, right? You're actually looking at the moon and like, holy shit, you know what? This is still nice. This is still something I want to see. And guess what? The moon will be there every single day. Pushing yourself to fix that. For example, we had this great idea for Saint Jean. This amazing idea for Saint Jean, right? And this is this is a beautiful subject. This is why I'm motivated, and this is where we're gonna go. But you know what? We're gonna take a small break. I'm gonna get myself something to drink. And if you're not happy, fuck you. Don't care. Don't care. Ah. Fuck, my phone is too warm. And it won't fill the nature corner. Today's nature corner is actually quite important. Fuck. So yes, so Saint Jean is our national holidays. The thing with Saint Jean last year, it was so crazy. 2 years ago, I started making content. I started filming content. So we went to the Saint Jean, and that's the craziest thing. We went. It's just so sad. So there's a lakeshore. I live in Lachine, which is a coastal town. We went to the coast, right? And I was next to the celebration of Saint Jean, but not actively celebrating Saint Jean. Then last year I went in and I filmed some of the event of the Saint Jean. Now this year what I'll do is I'll do a TikTok live, right? Which is every single year it's an improvement. I'll go live and I'll be part of the feast, and people will be able to interact with me, and it will be fun, right? It's a very small step, but it's a big step for content creation, right? Because it's coming out of my comfort zone. However, the thing with the Saint Jean is I don't have to give a fuck about it. Well, I love Quebec, right? But I don't have to give a fuck about Saint Jean until 2026. And even then, when I'm talking about Saint Jean, today is the 25th May, so we're talking about in 10 days. Oh, whoa, 25th. We're talking about a month from now. A whole last month from now. So yes, this is pretty special. This is pretty special, yeah. And then when I'm gonna do it, I'm not gonna have to think about it after. Now, I'm gonna make it special. I'm gonna give in the extra effort, and the extra effort is, is it too warm? I hate not being able to film the tower because I'm actually talking, and what makes the tower? Oh my god. But this is what I'm talking about, and this is not planned, but this is exactly what I'm talking about. I don't have to worry about it a lot. What becomes complicated is daily event or weekly events. For example, right now we're talking about the tower. So why am I pissed off not pissed off, but why am I annoyed that I cannot film the tower? Well, it's actually quite simple. If I don't film the tower, so right now what we're doing is we're filming the tower, right? However, with this playthrough activated, I get to open the mic. So whatever I'm saying is being said. Guess what? Fuck you. That's actually perfect. We just got oh my god, that's good. We got a energy drink from the fridge. Let's put it on let's put the phone on the energy drink. It'll cool it down at least a little bit. And because it's gonna cool it down, I will be able to film more. Why am I pissed off? Because the tower is a game that I've been grinding for more than 1,500 hours. I possibly have 2,000 hours in the tower. Pretty sad, yeah. But with the tower, you don't have 2,000 hours to talk about. So what I do is I film videos and I have the tower in the background, and it's hearing me. So when people are seeing the tower, or when people are watching my playthrough of the tower, they're hearing me talking like, okay, well, this is what he's talking about, right? Or they're gonna hear a show. We're gonna be watching some YouTube, and it's gonna be in the background, and then people will know that, okay, well, he's possibly doing. People will possibly say, okay, well, this is what he's watching, right? We're watching a documentary. The funny thing is, I get copyrighted often, but YouTube system is actually pretty cool. That's the craziest thing. I'll get copyrighted on YouTube for. Oh, give me a sec. There you go. As simple as this. It's working. It won't work for long, but at least I'll be able to get that. I'm not gonna be able to get that. We're good. I don't give a fuck. Let's see how much I can film here. Yeah, I know, very different nature corn. We're 90 minutes away. What I would like to do is, I can do shit about it. I cannot do shit. At least the sun is not directly on the balcony, so it doesn't hit directly the phone. But the phone overheats. Hell yeah. Um, I'll get copyrighted on YouTube. YouTube have a system to not cancel, but um block the noise, right? Then I'll put it on TikTok, and I won't get copyright on TikTok. So go figure. But coming back to content creation, and what's coming from the motivation is, it's so easy to have a vision, and I didn't think I had a vision. See, with content, if I'm being completely honest, the first content that I did was food review because I love food. Second was recap because I didn't find myself this interesting. I was like, okay, well, if I'm playing a game, I can kind of be interesting, but if I'm not playing a game, I'm fucking boring. So we start really talking about shows because I'm like, okay, well, at least that I know I did Trailer Park Boys, I just Kenny vs. Penny right away, which took me like a month, but still. And yeah, then after we did the Walking Dead, which we didn't finish, we went to season 3, which is still a 13-hour show, right? Which is crazy. And if you look at Trailer Park Boys, a season is an hour and a half, so it's nothing stellar. Trailer Park Boys will be 20 minutes episode. There's 6 episodes, which is 120, which is 2 hours. We're doing at 1.5 the speed. At 1.5 times the speed, which is 2 hour is 100. So you gotta have 80 minutes. 80 minutes before 200. So 80 times 1.5 is 120. 120 is 2 hours. So it takes us 80 minutes, which is an hour 20 minutes to watch a 2-hour shit. So yeah. That being said, it's easier, right? And I feel like, again, this whole mentality of having to cover this and that and this and that and this and that, and there's this fear here, and this fear is I don't think anybody considered himself. I don't think anybody considered himself a creator or creative, right? They'll say I'm creative, but I'm not the most creative person, right? Or a lot of people, and this is what I love, a lot of people will say I'm creative, but most of all, I have a vision. So it's not necessarily my creativity that carries me, it's my vision, right? So you'll see somebody like Oda, which is the mangaka behind, or the writer behind One Piece, and it'll do a 30 years plus. Yeah, it's more than 30 years. It started in 1991. We're 2025, so that is 34 years. When I feel autistic because was that offensive? I don't know. But yeah, so you had his vision. Now Oda sure is creative, but Oda has been making the same thing for 30 years. As long as you have this vision, it doesn't build out of creativity. He has this vision, and this vision is an onion, and this onion has layers, and you can take away from layers and like, oh, this layer is special, let's watch it. Or a tree, you cut down a tree and there's rings inside the tree, and the ring tells the age of the tree, right? But it's also, what if I was to take down a tree? That's a good idea. What if I was to cut down a tree and I was to create a video out of every single ring? See, this is creativity. This is vision. But if I wasn't cutting the tree, I would have never had this idea, right? So is this creative, or is this, well, I saw something and it inspired me? We're watching Trailer Park Boys. There's this character called Julian, and Julian is the smartest. But when you look at it, Julian just takes idea that he sees and completes them, right? So yeah. Alright, we're talking about? See, now I'm constantly worried that it's gonna be too warm to film, which I don't like. I do not like at all. So yeah, so with the vision, see, because of, okay, there you go, because of my perceived lack of vision, and again, I'm not saying that I have the most vision, I'm not saying that I'm the most creative, but it's such a specific thing, it's such a special thing. Let's have a peach and cream. It's kind of cold as a motherfucker. Did I just swear? Yes. Do I give a shit? No. I love all mothers. Call me a mama's boy, call me a motherfucker. See, this creativity, my fear of not being able to do it. For example, we have this Elden Ring, which is my favorite game ever. In Elden Ring, we have, I think, I don't remember if it's 17 or 19 playthrough planned. but it's 200 hours per playthrough, or at least 800 hours. So this is 1,900 hours of content that I already figured out, right? And I have to play the game in 1 year. This is crazy. But yeah, so with the whole thing being said, and the whole thing, in our perceived perception of non-creativity, I never know if I'm gonna have enough content. So then I started being interested in different things. Like, for example, I went to, okay, this is a bad story, and if you're watching this, Louis, I love you, dude, I'm sorry. I went to a family outing 2 weeks ago, and I was kind of getting, I wasn't really, I wasn't really interested in Magic the Gathering, right? But I had basic knowledge, and my cousin was really into it, so I was like, okay, well, let's talk about it, because I haven't talked to you in 12 years or 15 years. When I talk about this, I get to talk the whole day about whatever the fuck I want. Let's talk about Magic. And we talked about Magic, and I wasn't really in the conversation, but because he was so into the conversation, I said I should learn a little bit. So right now I could do a video talking about Magic, right? And if I didn't talk to my cousin, I wouldn't make this video. I wouldn't have the thought of making this video. Now the beautiful thing is, with creativity, the reality is, and this is a crazy reality, right? My apologies. I don't need to be infinitely creative. All I need is enough ID to carry me some time to make another ID. So, for example, I have a lot of ID during one day. It takes me 1 week. The whole week I have writer's block. I don't have any ID. I still have those IDs. After a week, if I still don't have IDs, what I'll do, I'll recap something. It's always a fear of lacking content, because I don't see myself stopping this year. I don't see myself stopping in 2 years. I don't see myself stopping in 3 years, maybe in 10 years, right? My apologies. God damn. This is the, believe me not, this is a pepperoni. Pepperoni contains a lot of grease, and your body doesn't digest grease properly. So you'll have gas, and you'll have, number two, so with this creativity, all I need is to be carrying me through the next week, and there's always way. I was talking about 10 years from now. 10 years from now, I might be a fucking family channel. Who knows? The vendettas. Who knows? I don't fucking know, but I might be. Hear me out. Hear me out. What if in 10 years this works and I make enough money? I make enough money to get my own place. 10 years, that's pretty reasonable, right? I don't have to buy the house. I have to have a mortgage down on the house, and I can still live in it. And I allow myself, because I'm the owner of the house, to have a dog. I can make a bunch of content with a dog. That's as simple as that, right? Now, am I using the dog for content? No, but if I can have, I'm a dog guy. I love puppies. If I can use something that I really want, which is owning a dog, and I can make content at the same time, fuck yeah, am I gonna do it, right? Fuck yeah, am I gonna do it? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not necessarily using the dog. See, a lot of people have this problem with family channel, right? And again, I think my perception changed because I'm a content creator. A lot of people have this problem with family channel. Tell me something. When you were a kid, right? Did your parent make you do the dishes? Did the parent make you clean the room, right? That was to teach you responsibilities, right? That was to teach you cleanliness, right? My apologies. What if filming videos actually taught my kids to be more responsible, to be more aware of what they're saying, and to be more aware of how they present themselves? When I was a kid, I had this really big problem with talking, and I still have. I talk really fast, right? So then when people bugged me and said, hey, speak slower, I had a mode of defiance. I was like, nah, fuck you, I'm just not gonna talk. That's gonna solve all the problem, right? So I don't have to worry about talking too fast if I don't talk, right? With my kids, that could be something that teaches them and show them, hey, you're talking too fast, or you're not talking fast enough. Yes, not talking fast enough is a thing. When people have a attention span of 3 to 30 seconds, not talking long enough might put you a sentence behind getting their attention. And once again, simple knowledge, simple creativity. And I think that I've been watching a lot of content creator, and the beautiful thing is, this is gonna be such a crazy but simple context. And again, I'm gonna take a little break, get my computer, I can post video. Look around me, all I seem to see. This is nuts, right? People going nowhere, expecting sympathy. Life is what happened while I'm busy making your excuses. Another day, another day. I was talking about creativity, right? And I swear to God, this is not planned. This is not something that is, well, technically speaking, is it planned? My brain planned it, and I just execute the plans, right? I was the last time I watched this much content. So last year we lose our job. We go to make content. So right away, what I'm doing is I'm making content so much that I don't see or don't pay attention to new content being made, right? As X. Last time we were able to watch this much of content was during the pandemic. During the pandemic, I was a new content creator, right? And the problem with the pandemic is I had so many, I had so many people to watch. During the pandemic, I watched the whole McJuggernuggets, Psycho Siri, and My Virtual Escape, which is about, I want to say, maybe 800 hours of content. So yeah, so you do Psycho Siri, which is I think 600 videos of about 10 minutes each. They're not 10 minutes each, but some of them are 40 minutes. So what you do is you divide it by you do like a they last normally last between X and X because you take the middle. So if they last in between 4 minutes to 40 minutes, that's 26 minutes, you'll do 18. So you'll do from 22, they usually last 22 minutes. As simple as that. They usually last 10 minutes, right? So 638 times 10 is 6,380 divided by 60 is still 1,000, it's still 100 hours plus. Then you see the devil inside, which is halfway there, 40. However, there's no videos of 4 minutes, so they're all 20 minutes and 40 minutes, so 35 minutes. You take 400, that's 200 hours. And you do My Virtual Escape, which is about 15 hours. You got 315 hours. Now, if you're like me and you like to watch things at 2 times the speed, you're still getting 160 hours, right? 160 hours, I don't know if you notice, but even if you stay awake, even if you work and you watch it for 10 hours, that's still 16 days. It's a shit ton of time. For some reason, the computer doesn't light up. Why aren't you lighting up, dude? What have I done? Let's clean the lens. Okay, so you're not lighting up. That's cool. That is completely cool. I had Kid Boga, was making content for 8 years. The whole channel. I had Casey Neistat making content for 15 years. I watched it. I watched a fucking GMM, Weekly Morning, right? That was another 20. There's 26 seasons, right? So that's a lot of them. And with those content creator, I had a lot. Now with this one, with this year, I was like, okay, well, let's get out of the way. For example, I watched this whole series of 3 hours. Well, technically speaking, we started watching Outdoors Boys, right? And Outdoors Boy was about life and a kind of a quiet guy, but making long ass video, right? And that was amazing. But it's not content I would have watched. So because we had a much wider array of videos to watch, I was able to be interested in a wider array of things, but they had nothing in common, and they were all able to coexist. I don't think people would think that the outdoor survival channel would be as successful as the Outdoors Boys, but when you make a video and it gets about 1 million views every single videos, I kind of crazy in it. And that's not even the most popular video. That's not even the most popular channel. So you realize that your creativity, and at the same time, there's this concept, and We're gonna talk money. We're gonna talk the big fucking greasy money for a couple of seconds. I wanted to grow the channel, and I wanted to take something that people would understand, or like, I'm not even making money, right? This is a time to experience. This is a time to, oh my god, this is so complex. This is such a shitty perspective, but this is the truth though. You're not even at the stage to making money yet, so you're branding, you're building your brand. First of all, you're building your identity on social media. Second of all, third of all, you're out there doing content that you should be liking to do, right? Not content that is gonna make you famous, because technically speaking, right now I'm not making money. Let's say in a year I'm making money, right? But in a year I still have a job, so this is not my main source of income. I get to take risk. Now, if this is my main source of income and I lose this income, this is directly affecting how much I can eat. And if this is directly affecting how much I can eat, then we have a problem, because this is kind of a survival, right? But right now this is not survival, so why didn't I not do anything that I want? I was afraid that if I didn't go out of my comfort zone, this is actually beautiful. This is such a wonderful thing. This is such a wonderful thing, because I realized that if I wasn't, I was afraid that if I didn't get out of my comfort zone, I wouldn't be able to make enough content. But now I'm realizing that all I had to do was to widen my comfort zone. And because my comfort zone is widened, then I can do a lot more than I originally could. And because I can do a lot more than I originally could, then whatever happens. If I want to make a video about something, I can tell you guys tomorrow, right? I can tell you guys tomorrow, hey, I met a girl and she's really into spirituality, she's really into tarot reading. Like, oh, congratulations, Ink. And for some reason, I get really influenced and I'm really in love, and I start talking about tarot, right? I get started talk about tarot, and we're in a position where I'm talking about tarot on a daily basis, and I'm talking about tarot, and I'm talking about tarot, right? And then we break up, and I was like, well, you know what? My apologies. I didn't like tarot to begin with. I liked her, but did I like tarot to begin with? No. Right? So even though we just spent a month talking about something we'll never talk about, it's not wasted time, right? It's just I had a different interest. I think that's beautiful. You see, when I created a channel, and again, I'm not trying to be an asshole, I'm not trying to be demeaning to myself, but when I created the channel, I was a very, I'm still a very boring guy, to be honest. But I had three main interests in life: food, video games, and mangas. Nature wasn't a thing. I didn't give a fuck about nature. I started giving a fuck about nature when I thought I could make content with it, right? And because I knew I could make content out of it, I'm like, okay, well, guess what? Let's give a fuck about something we never gave a fuck about. Let's do something different in our lifetime, you know? And it was still like a scary concept of, is that, can you make something interesting? It's not. And that's the thing with creativity. Creativity, it's such this is the death of creativity. This is the death of creativity, but the birth of capitalism in some ways. I have this interest, and I have to make it interesting so people are interested in seeing it. I get some views, I get some follows, I get some views, I get some comments, I get some cash for the ads, right? If I like something but I don't make it interesting, right? If I don't make it interesting, then what am I supposed to do? Right? I was talking about the Berserk 1997, and the truth is there's a lot of people that still like Berserk, right? But no, let's take something else. I have about 400 games. This is not talking about emulators. I have about 400 games on the Switch. I have on the Switch, on the apps on the Switch and on the PS4. I have about 400 games. Out of those 400, what if 100 of them I couldn't make interesting? Nobody would give a shit. How can I make something interesting, right? Because you don't make something interesting, you don't get the view. Because you don't get the views, nobody gives a shit, and you lose distraction, right? You lose the attention of people. Like, well, he did some playthrough. Okay, I was watching this guy. He was making a playthrough of a game that I like. He finished a game. He did a playthrough of another game that I didn't like. I haven't watched him in 3 weeks. I don't really know what he's up to. Don't I really give a fuck? It happens. Right now, we're fucking reviewing Trailer Park Boys. We're reviewing a series that is 25 years old. And yes, I have an excuse. I'm Canadian. This is something that I love. It's something that I know a lot about, so I can give you like an insider review, even though I wasn't on the inside. But still, yeah. Just, I'm lucky because people fuck with Trailer Park Boys. I'm lucky because I'm lucky because I get so little views that no matter how small the fan base that actually watches YouTube videos on Trailer Park Boys, it doesn't matter how small it is, it's still more than what I'm getting. And because it's still more than I'm getting, it's an improvement. Right? And even then with Trailer Park Boys, and this is the craziest thing with creativity. So Trailer Park Boys is this very specific case where I do like the content, I do like the boys, I do like everything about Trailer Park Boys, right? I do like everything about it. I just want to show you something. Nature Corner would be the same every single day. But look at this. That's new. Is it cool? And technically speaking, Trailer Park Boys is what? Let's say 4 or 5 Netflix special. Let's say 3 movie. Let's say 2 special. Right? Let's say Trailer Park Boys in itself is about 60 hours. Right? When I have the if I do the podcast is 520 episode, and it's about 260 hours. To that high recap, right? So this is limited content. I would have, even if I review 1 episode a day, I would have 260 days. I don't know if you're good in math. Thankfully I am. That's about 7 months, right? 7 months on content. That's a content that I can just enjoy myself. Right? You know the craziest thing? I know the craziest thing. I'll tell you the craziest thing. 7 months, right? Times 4. And it's 28 new episodes, right? I'm at 7 months, and even if I review 1 episode a day, I still got what months more, right? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Just to think about, thinking about the fact that we have so much content, right? And even though creativity is important and making your original content is important, sometimes you just gotta let go and enjoy yourself. I'm gonna get. I hope I'm not offending anybody with this. I was watching Bretman Rock, right? Bretman Rock, who fucking is a beauty guru, right? He does beauty content. I don't give a fuck about beauty content. However, I was dating this chick who told me to watch him. And I watched him, and he was entertaining. And even though I didn't give a fuck about him being homosexual, even if I didn't give a fuck about him making beauty content, the guy was entertaining. The guy was fucking entertaining. Like, okay, Bretman Rock, I see you. And I ended up watching him for like 2 weeks, right? And it was super entertaining. And yeah, you should be checking up on Bretman Rock. At the same time, you see, this is something you enjoy. This is something that you never thought you'd be interested in. But if you ask me to react to a Bretman Rock videos, I'm gonna say, okay, sure. Right? And I think this is crazy. And even then, with content, the specific thing is, and again, I'm not sucking my own dick, right? But when I deserve credit, I'm gonna give myself credit. You don't mind? You don't mind, I hope. Thank you. Even and only even. I was focusing on the main channel. Mm-hmm. Well, technically speaking, the main channel is called Ing Vendetta. The gaming channel has become Ing Vendetta Gaming, right? And I would promote the gaming channel with the main channel. But what if, and only what if, right? I didn't have anything to talk about the main channel. And I would go to gaming. Remember the 400 hours? Yeah, I remember too. The clips, the storyline, the characters, right? There's so much to talk about here. There's so much to talk about. So all I would have to do is focus on the gaming channel, right? Now, oh man, we've been watching Barbecue a lot lately. 'Cause I think John Taffer is fucking phenomenal, and Parky watches it a lot. So because Parky watches it a lot, we're watching it a lot. Parky and my freaking I don't know how you say it in English, but we're seeing each other, so that's kind of cool. And we're watching Bar Rescue. Talking about cross contamination and cross contamination and cross contamination and not at the very least cross contamination, right? And the craziest thing with cross contamination is this is it. I touch with gaming content with my hand, but I also touch with normal content. And because I did the two of them, then I am able to have a fucking good time. And both channel improve each other, right? And that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. So people, you see, take a person like Nikki 30. Oh no. Take a person like Clicks. You see this computer's not because there's no internet. Okay, I understand. Yo entiendo qué pasa. I understood what's up. Take a person like Clicks. Clicks, who is a Fortnite streamer, right? And then Clicks actually got a lot of fame, and then Clicks can release video about himself, and people would love that, right? And I don't think we're seeing that a lot. Or take a channel like GMM. GMM have GMM is actually the perfect example. GMM was so successful that they released a production company called Smash Production. Now they have a podcast called Ear Biscuits. They have this Good Mythical Kitchen. They have Good Mythical More, right? And I love those shows. But most people are like, okay, well, I just want to see the Good Mythical morning content, right? However, everybody would watch these other things. Nobody would watch Ear Biscuits because it's only a podcast. There's so many podcasts out there. But because you like GMM, you're like, okay, well, I like the guys and I know who they are. So let's watch Ear Biscuits, right? And that's pretty much it. So you branch out. And this is creativity. I was doing this and then I'm doing that. My apologies. My apologies. And you see that a lot. You see that with the Stranger Things cast. Stranger Things cast. Why am I talking about Stranger Things? Because again, this is creativity. So there's this character called Finn Wolfhard, which plays Mike and Stranger Things, which is kind of a main character. And now he's doing music. You have Steve, who now is making music. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy, isn't it? Or you take people that were on shows, for example, Ariana Grande. It wasn't a kid's show, and she made a whole career out of it. And this is insanity. This is insanity. I watched, the funniest thing is, and this is kind of embarrassing, about 4 months ago, I watched a movie called The Substance, and it was really, really good. And I made a fucking mistake, and it's a huge mistake. I called the character, I thought it was Courtney Cox, but it's Demi Moore. They both have dark hair, both have a rocking body, gilf body, and both have blue eyes. They kind of look alike. The craziest thing, we were watching V for Vendetta, right? I was talking about Natalie Portman, and it wasn't her. It was somebody that looks like her, but it wasn't her. And people corrected me, and I'm like, bruh, what a fucking douche. How did I not notice, right? The people understood where I was coming from. And it didn't really matter because they understood where I was coming from. So the rest of people knew where I was coming from. They knew that they were similar. So the rest of they didn't care. But for example, right, if this is crazy though. And I thought about it that way. This is actually kind of unrealistically cool. So people thought that I make a mistake, and they wouldn't care, right? If the review was good, they wouldn't care, right? Because the review was good, they didn't care. Look at this. I'm telling you, this bird is so close. You saw it. It's going on our balcony. That's why it's so loud. You see, you're currently offline. Yeah, you're not. My computer's not doing well. We uploaded a bunch of program lately for the multi streaming. Fuck. Okay. Hank, relax, okay? Like, this is gonna be okay. So with this, it's kind of cool because the because and this is not planned, right? Because people understood where I was coming from. As long as the rest of the review was okay, they didn't care, right? But then, in a fucked up sense of the way, because I made a mistake, they got interested in the rest of the review. If I didn't make a mistake, would they watch the review? I don't know. Isn't that fucking crazy? That is insanity. That is insanity. But again, it's all a question of perception. A question of creativity. You're seeing a tree. I see. You're seeing a tree. I'm seeing an apple tree. You're seeing a rose. I know the exact name of the rose. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Anyway, love you guys. Take it easy. Bye.